In this video, I'm going to show you a method for checking whether an equation you found is the right one for a certain line. So it's certainly not the only way to check that, but it's just a nice little trick to have up your sleeve. So here's an example. We've got a line here, and then the question is, which is the correct equation for this line? Is it y equals negative a half x minus 1, or is it y equals negative 2x minus 1? I'll call it the black equation and the pink equation. So at first glance, both of these look reasonable. In both of them, the slope is negative, and the slope is going this direction, so it's negative. And the y-intercept is right for both of them. They've both got a y-intercept of negative 1. So you have other methods for checking whether the slope is negative a half or negative 2, but I'm going to show you this method for checking the equation, and then you'll be able to do it several different ways. So what we're going to do is we're going to verify it by substituting a point. So we're going to take one of these points on here, and if you were doing a question, if you were the one who came up with these equations, you should use a different point other than the ones you already used. Right? So maybe if when I was coming up with the equation, maybe I used this point here and this point here. So I'll use this one down here. It's the x and y at that point. Okay, just in case you made a mistake with these ones up here, the mistake will show up when you try a different point. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take my equations, and I'm going to substitute the x and y value in, and I'm going to see if the two sides really are equal. Okay? So while I'm doing it, while I'm checking to see if it's equal, I'll put in, when I write the equal sign, I'll put equals with a question mark over it to show that I'm not really sure. And then once we finish, if the two sides are equal, that means that this point is on this line, or if we're using this one, this point is on this line. So that means that this is probably the right equation. Okay? So we'll do the black one first. Sorry about that. So I'm going to substitute the x value is 2 and the y value is negative 5. So pay a bit of attention because the order in the coordinates is different from the order in the equation. So it's pretty easy to get it backwards if you're not paying attention. So for our y value, we've got negative 5. And I'll put equals question mark because I'm checking to see if they're equal. Negative a half times my x value is 2 minus 1. So I just copied this down, but I substituted my x and y values in. So now we've got negative 5 equals question mark. Negative a half times 2 is negative 1. Subtract 1 is negative 2. No. So that tells us that this point here is not on this line. And since in the picture the point is on the line, that means that can't be the right equation. So let's try this one. And then hopefully what happens, if one of these is the correct equation, then this point's got to work in one of them. So hopefully it'll work in this one. So we'll do the same thing. We'll substitute the first y, so that's negative 5, equals question mark, negative 2 times x, which is 2, minus 1. So I'll just copy the left side again. And now I've got on the right side, I have negative 2 times 2. So that's negative 4. Subtract 1. That is negative 5. Yes. So this equation is correct. So just a note, if you, say, made up random numbers for these equations, you'd have to do more than check one point. In fact, you have to check 2 points. If 2 points on your line both satisfy the equation, so what I mean by that is when you substitute the points, it works. The two sides are equal. If 2 points on the line both satisfy the equation, it's definitely the right equation. But if you're just using it as a double check for your work, if you already have reason to believe the equation is correct, and then you check with another point, if that works, then you're probably right. Okay, so just to sum up, if you want to check an equation by substituting a point, you identify your x and y values, you substitute them in, and then you see whether or not the two sides are equal.